Peace, family, peace. And welcome to another episode of Sins of the Father. I'm your host, Ani I Am. And as always, I appreciate you tapping in and coming on board and with me with this journey to kind of discover and understand how healing from past traumas and negative experiences helps to allow you to live a more fuller life and enjoy the things that we are striving for. Be able to kind of really tap in with your children and tap in with yourself and really kind of get involved. But today, family, today I have a special guest. Normally I'm doing this alone, but today I am being blessed with the presence of Hannh, who is a certified, I want to make sure, a certified clinical hypnotherapist and an energy healer. And she's really about that healing life. She when it comes to childhood trauma and generational trauma, what I love about Hannah's approach is how she, helps people to recognize these invisible patterns that we're carrying and really be able to dig in and go beyond just awareness. Because a lot of us think that awareness is where it stops and just being aware of it. But Hannh has easily let me understand that it's not just about awareness, family. It's about what are you going to do now that you are aware. And this is where I think Hannah's expertise is going to come in and really help us to kind of dive into some topics. And, I'm just here to learn. As always, family, I always tell you guys that we start out with guideposts. And we use these words as guideposts: healing, respect, gratitude, empathy, and most importantly, always love, because we know that love is undefeated. And with that, I just want to introduce Hannh.
Oh, thank you so much for that amazing
Wow,
introduction.
great.
Oh my God, it's really good to be here. Thank you for coming. I love that we're outside talking about healing
Yes.
because, right, healing nature to me is also like the big thing too. Like can't separate yourself, but you also need to put yourself in different environments, right? So
100%.
then you can really get healing. So I'm excited to talk about this. I'm excited about talking about awareness and how you need to go beyond awareness for your healing journey. And let's dive. We've already been doing it a little bit. We was already
Right.
talking, so we kind of
Yeah.
had to stop so we can
Yeah,
actually
stop.
like
Absolutely.
let's get this on camera. This
So we-
amazing
yeah,
conversation. Let's really
good.
talk about
So
this.
something you had we had kind of I had to ask you, like, what are some of the things that you like to work on? And there was something that, and I want to make sure that with this, I found this to be very powerful when I read it, and it resonated with me because this is something that I struggle with. So
Hmm.
I'm apologizing now if I use this as a therapy session for myself, right, family? But listen, you guys, hopefully you guys will learn something from the therapy session as well. But you said that you mentioned something to me. You said subconscious patterns that drive self-sabotage. And that hit me because over these last over this last year that I have been actually diving into understanding and learning about the healing wounds and how those things work, I have been struggling with understanding how I have been treating myself,
Yeah.
and whether or not I've been treating myself good, even though I'm trying so bad to connect back with my children and work with them and heal that wound. But I realize, what am I doing for me? So in your understanding, like, how do you how do you see, or how do you identify self-sabotaging in someone when they're working at that?
Yeah, yeah. And I think something that's important to realize is that not everybody sees that they're sabotaging themselves, right? And when I said like subconscious or unconsciously, a lot of people are doing it unconsciously, and they just think like all of the universe is against me, all these things are just against me, and they don't see how it was their micro actions they were actually doing it to themselves, right?
Mm.
And some things that when I say like unconscious, it's like waking up late for work. And this is your third time that you're late for work, and next time you're going to get fired.
Mhm.
But why are you so tired waking up for work? But on Saturday morning you get up no problem, go,
Right.
and
No alarm.
no alarm. Yeah, it's like, what about it is it that this work I can't get up on time, right? And so,
Mhm.
and in your mind, you may think, in your conscious adult mind, you may think like, I'm not doing that. I'm tired, right? I'm tired, but it's just like that's to me that's a clear sign. That's a clear sign of this unconscious self-sabotage that
That is super powerful. You know what? I never thought about that.
yeah.
And I've I can honestly have to say that I have done that.
Yeah.
Like, I've literally laid in the bed purposely and ignored the alarm, knowing that it was going to cause me to have to rush and possibly be late.
Yeah. Right.
And I didn't think that is self-sabotage, but wow.
Yeah, that's the way. 'Cause again, like the person who's like, and now I got fired from my job, right? You did that for yourself. You woke up 3 times late. But why did you wake up 3 times late? Why are you dreading going to work in the first place? What is it that you're forcing yourself to do something that you don't want to do? Clearly, you don't. This job is not fulfilling you. Clearly, it's still triggering some things that you're having this literal conflict within internally in you, right? But you're forcing yourself. I would never tell any of my clients to do something that they don't want to do, right? Like that force, it really creates a battle. And a house divided against itself will not stand. So if you're forcing yourself to do this one thing, and there's another part of you that's forcing and pulling to do another thing, that's why that self-sabotage comes. And I do, with my clients, especially people who deal with self-sabotage, it's something called parts therapy, right? And again, there's a part of you that wants to be successful, that wants to hit these goals. And there's another part of you that wants to binge watch Netflix, that wants to like eat bonbons. Like, I don't want to do, I don't want to do nothing, right? I want to be comforted. And that's when we have a hypnosis session, gets down there to your subconscious mind, we can actually talk to these parts of you, right? I want to be very clear. These parts are not, you don't have multiple split personality disorder. You don't have, it's nothing like that. Everybody has different parts of their subconscious as you grow and stuff like that, as different things happen to you, different parts of your subconscious may form into a different part. And each part has a job. And even if this part is sabotaging you, right? It's still trying to do it for your highest good. Its highest intention is for your good in one way or the other, right? And so when I talk to these parts with my clients, when we get down there, we talk to these parts, it's usually, he's not resting. He's not, he's tired. He needs to rest. I'm making him rest. I'm allowing him that space to rest. And, or it's something like, for that, if that's what's happening, right? You can't ever get somewhere on time. Or if it's like, you always have, in your work environment, it's always toxic, right? And then you're beefing with your boss or your coworkers and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't know why, but when I walk in this door, I just have an attitude with everybody. What's going on?
Can I use a real world example, and then you tell me how you would, because this is really like eye-opening. I never thought, and wow. Okay, I find myself sometimes choosing between working on a computer and binging on Netflix. And Netflix wins because I'll say, right, I will sit on Netflix and watch 5 episodes or something, which is what, hours, let's just say 45 minutes. So I'm hours and sitting there, right? And then I'll grunt or complain about sitting on the computer for 2 hours. But I love success. Yeah. I love being productive. I love creating. I love making money. I've been successful. I'm wondering, and this is not, so just to put it in clear context, this is over the last maybe 2 years. And I know I've mentioned this to my audience before, I'm going through divorce still. And very challenging mentally, because I'm losing my family and my children, and I'm always worried about how is that bond going to stay relevant, and how is it going to stay strong, because those are my foundation. Like, that is my purpose a lot of times, outside of myself and my spirituality. That is my physical purpose, which is to nurture them and create them and help them become full human beings, right? Yeah. But now that you're saying that, I'm wondering how many times I'm literally, as you were saying it, I was seeing myself sitting on the couch and looking at my office and saying, I should be in there working on this thing that I know I have a team of people waiting for me to fulfill this thing, but I'm just going to sit here on the couch. And then when I get up from the couch that night, I'm mad at myself. Yeah. Because I didn't do what I knew I should have. I said I wasted 4 hours right here, and I could have been in there, and I would have gotten this done, and I'd be this much closer to my next goal next accomplishment. What do you think that is that I may be seeing or
Yeah, no, Ani, I hear the parts right now. If this was a session, I would have all my notes, and I could be like, this one does this one does that, because I can hear it, right? I can hear it. This definitely at least like 3 different ones right there, right? Really? And you know what? We could use this definitely as a session type of thing.
Absolutely.
So there's something we do called stem sentencing, right?
Okay.
And because right now your subconscious mind can hear me, right? It's just that your conscious mind is running the show.
Okay.
And so we do stem sentencing to try to allow that subconscious part to be able to come up, right? We tell it that it can come up. It can come up freely. All these parts can come up and things like that. And that way we can just kind of map out what those parts would be before we get you into an actual session, before we can actually talk to these parts directly. And the stem sentencing at first is going to feel a little repetitive, right? But it's to really get down to it, right? It's to really, it may feel like I'm asking you the same thing over and over and over,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
But I'm going to let you know, whatever comes up, that first thought you have in your head, let that
go.
let that come up.
Out.
Say that.
Okay.
Say that first thought, right?
Okay.
Of whatever it is. And know that the repetition is to get all the layers out, right? Even if I'm saying the same thing in a different way, let it come out. Let it come out. Whatever it is, right? Let it flow.
Okay.
And yeah, just
wow.
This is the space to do it. So that part of you that wants to just sit on the couch, watch 5 episodes of your favorite show on Netflix, right? You may not have it might not even be a show. You might just be scrolling. You're like, this looks
not
good.
Even my show. I promise you. It's not even my show.
Not even your show. You just need something to do, right?
Yes.
So I want you to finish this sentence for me. So picture yourself on your couch, like watching, just scrolling, doom scrolling, right? When you're thinking about that, and you're thinking about, I need to do my work, but I want to watch this show. What comes to your mind? What are some of the thoughts that's coming to your mind?
I'll do it later.
I'll do it later. When you're thinking about, I'll do it later, that makes me feel so
almost relaxed, like no pressure.
No pressure. And when you're feeling no pressure, when you're feeling relaxed, right? That makes me feel so
relieved.
And when you're feeling relieved, there's no pressure. You could just relax, watching Netflix. That makes me feel so
I would say free.
Free. And when you're feeling that freedom, it makes me believe that I am
okay.
Makes you believe that I'm okay, right? And when you're feeling relaxed, it makes me believe that I am
not going through the trauma I'm going through, not going through the stress that I'm going through.
Yeah. Right? So, Ani, we just identified this part and why, and the motivations and why it's doing it, right? Of course you're watching Netflix. Ani, you feel relaxed. You feel free. It's an escape from your trauma. You don't have to deal with it, right? Of course you're gonna want to do that.
Right.
I would want to do it too. right? If you got programmed from whatever it is, your mind put 2 and 2 together. When I'm watching Netflix, I can disconnect from the world. I can just be free. I can disconnect from my trauma.
Absolutely.
I can relax fully and just not do anything. I'm free. Oh my God. How many people just want to feel free?
Everybody. I think everybody's searching for that level of freedom.
Right? And so with the parts therapy, I guarantee if we did a session right now, that part will come up and say these things, probably in more poetic manner, but it's saying these things. And it's going to fight. It's trying to fight for that freedom because it knows you need it. It knows you deserve it. Okay. It knows that's your core state, right? And the point is to be able to get that part to work with the other parts, right? That part of you that wants success, that part of you that's driving you, that we can do it. You have to be successful. All those things. Right. Those parts probably got some things to say to each other.
I'm sure.
Right? Yeah. But we can get them working on the same page. They find that all the time they find that common ground. And the common ground is we want Ani to be happy. We want Ani to be successful. Right. So how can we give him his rest, his balance, and then also make him successful? Because it's possible. It's definitely possible, right? Anything you put your mind to is possible. 100%. But if they're fighting, then you'll get these big moments where the one who wants to be relaxed and feel free, it's driving. It's not going to let you do anything. Shut down. Right? But then you probably get these hyper-focused moments when you're like, I'm in it. I'm doing it. What's a bid? I can't relax right now. Right.
Absolutely. Man, that is like really eye-opening. And, you know, I talk to some of my brothers who have gone through similar things, right? Divorce, just wayward children, things of that nature, or just things that they've gone through with their parents, right? And we kind of discuss things that we go through it. And you're saying it to me, and I'm almost thinking of them like how many people are in need of understanding that this is part of your subconscious telling you need rest. Like I'm protecting you. I'm trying to protect you, but I can't just protect you just with this.
Yeah.
Because there's another party that needs protection as well, right? It's a duality that needs to be happening. Like he needs, like you said, these 3-4 person, whatever they are, he needs what he needs. He needs what he needs. This one needs what he needs, and somehow you got to collaboratively work together and make it work and
unify them because they're all you.
They're
all you. Even though they have when we have a trauma, a part of our subconscious separates. The trauma forces a split in your consciousness. And it will develop into the inner critic or whatever these different parts are. It's a separation. It's an illusion.
Right.
The separation is an illusion, but it still can very much be your reality, right? And so the point of the parts therapy, like I said, awareness is not the point, right? We bring awareness to it. We do the healing, but at the end, it is to merge all of them. It's to merge them. It's to dissolve those lines that it's not going to be a part, this part, this part, this part. At the end of the healing journey, there's no parts. It's just one whole.
So that's the end result that everybody should be trying to achieve, knowing that. So most times when people find themselves fighting against something, they're really fighting against themselves.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%, you're fighting against yourself. Like even the mirrors that you see in other people, right? Because everyone's a reflection of you. There's just something that you don't like in somebody else.
It's because of you, right?
I can guarantee there's something in you that's like triggering it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So just now that you're saying these things, right? And I'm thinking about how one of my other struggles and part of what you would mention to me and that kind of let me know about the self-sabotage was my expectations of my relationship with my son, my oldest son.
Yeah.
Which has been a huge battle for me. Something that I talk about a lot with my children is trying to heal that thing, right? But I find myself, again, probably self-sabotaging that somehow.
Yeah.
Because maybe something I'm not getting across or I'm not seeing that he's receiving it. And it's triggering me to make me angry.
Yeah.
And then now it breaks down our line of communication because now I'm feeling like you're not listening or you're not getting my genuine desire to reconnect with you and be one, whole and me and you being together. But now I'm almost at battle with you, right? And everything that you're identifying now is showing me that, like you said, I am in the way in some way or form of the progress that I'm actually seeking.
Okay, so what I hear you saying is that, you have this genuine desire to heal the relationships with your son, right? To make those connections. And then that there's some resistance there, right?
Yeah.
That there's some resistance and he may not always be super receptive to what you're trying to do. And then I just understand like what you're saying, the conclusion was that you feel like you're in the way of doing it. Okay. So what I've come to understand is that because I'm sure there's father sons, I've had to deal with a big mom issue, like a mother wound, right? And it's a similar thing happened. My mom was trying to like reach out and I was like, nah, right? Not happening, right? And I see that a lot with my clients too. They're just like, or even a time when they want it, but there's just so much trauma there to unpack, right? And I can say with your son that you can't force him to have the connection, but as you heal, Hannh, as you do all of that work, it is going to seep out of you into your surroundings. You are going to literally shift your reality and shift into things that happen that way. Your son will see that, oh, he's serious. Every time you show up, every time you keep your word, every time you say, I'm still here for you, I'm still here for you. Even if you don't want me, I'm your dad, I'm going to be here for you regardless. Every time you show him that you have really changed, those are going to be more like, it's going to be that repetition.
Got it.
It's the law of repetition. You do it over and over and over. He's going to start seeing, oh, he's serious. And then as you heal, he might start coming up to you, well, Dad, I see you healed. Just you in general. You have your own childhood stuff that could be a reflection. He may have the same things.
Absolutely.
But as you start healing that, you can give him that advice like, this is how I healed it with my dad. This is how I was able to resolve it with myself, right? And you know the phrase, you could bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Absolutely.
Right? You can't. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
And having that resistance there, like, I just want you to
You
see me here, I'm trying.
I can't make you do it, right? So let me ask you, because there was something that I was in a discussion earlier today, and I kind of felt triggered that when they were bringing up the fact that allowing or coming to a point where you say, I'm no longer going to try with my parent anymore. And I'm going to let them, it's safer for me to distance myself and not interact with them.
There's an ant on you. Sorry.
You know,
flipped it over here.
Oh, sorry. so what, and I felt triggered. I wrote in the discussion, I said, it really kind of bothers me to hear that you would give up on a parent because you feel that they are not getting it when you want them to get it. But is there any validity to my thought process that, and I told him this in the thing, it could be because I'm going through it, that I feel triggered by the fact that you're saying, give up on the father and say, hey, I don't have to deal with that energy anymore. I want to protect myself and be separated from this. And I was saying to myself, like, it feels like, but how do you not pursue this relationship with this person when you can identify this person is genuinely trying to connect with you? Is there, because I think that that's almost like giving up and saying, hey, I'm so wanting to protect myself and I'm so fragile that I can't go through this rough moment of trying to heal. And I just didn't feel like that was healthy. It's just my opinion. You tell me what you think in that situation.
Yeah, and I guess want to make sure I understand what you're saying too, that there's a thought process out there that it's okay for the child to just say, I'm not trying to make a connection with my parent. Like that, I'm done with it, right? Even if the parent is saying, no, I want to reach out, I want to try, even, you know what I mean? Okay, I understand what you're saying. So, and I hear you, and you're saying, like, to you, that's like giving up. That's like quitting. That's just like, why would you do that, right? And if I may, Ani,
absolutely,
I think you have that mindset because of your age, right? And I don't mean necessarily because of your generation. I think you're realizing more and more how short time is, right? And how, like, the things that really matter in this world is your family. And right, it's that bond, and you're realizing that more and more and more, right? 100%. And how this is the thing that's important. Why would you let this go? This is the only thing that matters, right? Younger people don't realize that yet. They haven't learned that lesson. They haven't come to that realization yet. You say, like, they just want to protect. They do want to just protect themselves, right?
Yes.
And they are closer to that wound. They're closer to that wound, to that childhood. And the only thing that you have fight, flight, freeze. There's also fawn, right? And so it's just like you have to separate. You want to separate. It's at some point the safest thing you can do is to separate. And if that's what you need to do to feel better, if that's what you need to do for you to be safe, I can't tell somebody they can't do what they need. Only they know what they need to do, right? And like I said, Ani, for you, all you could do is say, I'm still right here.
Still right here.
As a dad, I'm gonna have your back whether you want me in your corner or not. I'm gonna be in your corner.
Got it.
And you've seen, here's a great example. There was this video I saw of this raccoon. It was caged, right? It was a caged raccoon. It was a caged raccoon. And it was just really, really, really vicious, right? And the person who was trying to save him was putting in a popsicle, and it was just like, it started attacking the popsicle, right? It was just like, just tearing that popsicle up, and they was like, oh, actually, this popsicle tastes really good, right? Start calming down, right? People don't know that you're trying to help them. It feels like they're being attacked. When they're trapped, they feel like they're trapped in a box. They still got their own wounds happening. They feel like they're trapped. They feel like everything's everything's attacking them, even when it's a popsicle, even when it's something
That's a
good for them,
analogy. That's
right?
a great. I just had a discussion with my son, and we were discussing doing some business together, and I was trying to tell him something very, like you said, genuinely, sincerely about what he was doing. And he immediately went into defense mode, like you said. So he was like that raccoon who probably just was feeling like he's doing it again. My father's coming at me again, or he's judging me, or he's whatever it is, whatever his
mental was, yeah.
And no, just listen to me for a second. Just stop, just listen to what I'm saying. And like you said, the popsicle, my genuine love and desire for us to succeed and be successful began to feel good. And okay, wait a minute. And then we hugged it up after that, right?
Yeah.
It was a great moment, but I said, why do we have to go to that heightened? But it's because probably without him understanding, going through the same type of healing process, he doesn't know that he's triggering, and I got to protect myself because my father, the big aggressive father. I'll be honest, I was been very aggressive through my child rearing time with him, right? I was a young man. My son is 30. I'm 50, so I was 20 years old when I was in the middle of my aggression phase, my ego phase, and I'm sure that I'm sure that I did those things to him. I'm sure that my overbearingness, my desire to make him a better person than me, felt constrictive to him, felt overwhelming to him, to his little mind, or he just probably wanted to play and love and hug and go to eat some ice cream, right? But I'm putting science of the mind type things on him at 6 years old. Like, no, you got to master your surroundings.
You didn't tell a 6-year-old.
I swear to you. I swear to you. And he and I did an episode, and he was like, you told me when I was 5 years old, I was the master of the universe. I didn't know what the hell that meant. Like, what does that mean? I'm the master of the universe. And I'm telling him, like, I'm just giving you everything that was in my heart that I felt that was going to protect you. But really and truly, it was an empty statement.
Yeah.
Because what did it really mean if I didn't show him, give him the application? And I realize it now as I'm listening to you, why he and I constantly will be even keel, and then we'll hit a apex out of nowhere. And it'll be, now that I'm thinking about it, because he's probably triggered by a past me of me. And I was very, like I said, I was very aggressive. Never physical, but very strong in my words. Like I wasn't a cut word type of person. Like I wasn't like, oh, do this and that. I was like, no, you're gonna this is the, and I felt that it was better than the way I grew up, which was corporal punishment. Yeah. Right? I got the beatings. So I said, I'm never gonna hit you. I'm gonna spare the rod. I'm never gonna hit you. But I am gonna be very verbal about attacking up here. But it probably wasn't. It might have even been worse, almost, right?
Yes. I have two things to say, and I don't want to lose either one of these. One, you said all that, and I want you to forgive yourself, honey, for being that man, for doing that. Like you said, you did it from, you thought you were doing the best you could do.
Yes. Sure.
The best you could do, right? And in your efforts, you kept evolving, and now you've realized that you could change, right? And then the second thing is the triggers, even the triggers in your relationships with your someone, you're seeing those in live time. Right. He's being triggered, right? Yes. And also sometimes live time you're being triggered. Those are the alarms. Those are the signals that people try to hide from their triggers. Right. They try to avoid getting triggered, but lean into those triggers. Lean into them. And I know that seems...
Tell me how.
It seems counterproductive, right? It seems counterintuitive to lean into a trigger. Right. But when you are heightened, when you're like, this is triggering me, ooh, that means there's something that's not healed. Oh, what is that? You can take a moment. What is that? What? Ooh, where is that? What is that voice saying? Why was I just triggered so bad? Like what happened? Because it's kind of like, usually the triggers are, that's the straw that broke the camel's back. It's just a fuse. It just popped, and you really can't. All of those emotions that you've been holding down, that lid just popped open, and you had all of these emotions come out, and verbal,
Right.
whatever. You breaking down, whatever happens, you were triggered.
Yeah.
When you lean into it, though, you can see what was the cause, and you can really get down to what that inner child was. What are those feelings? You get to those real. What am I feeling in this moment? I'm feeling attacked. I'm feeling vulnerable. I'm feeling scared. I'm like, you can just list them all down, and then as you have those heightened emotions, your brain does this amazing thing. It can do. It associates, right? So you could say, when's the first time I felt this way? And it will bring you back to the first memory. And that's how I do childhood regressions, right?
Okay.
Because hypnotherapist, I'm going to bring you back to that to that first memory.
Right.
But that's how I do it. I heighten your emotions. I heighten those emotions.
Make the trigger come.
And make it come up. Allow, but in a safe environment, right?
Got it.
So when you get to feel those same old feelings in a new, safe, and structured environment, that's how you can integrate the healing, right? So it's not the same as being triggered when you're like right in that moment, right? In the battlefield,
Gotcha.
you don't got time to reflect. You may not have time to reflect,
right?
But because Ani, you've been doing so much work. When your son is being triggered, you can definitely like, let me take this moment right now and be like, I see you're angry. What else are you feeling? And he's gonna allow him to scream at you.
Right.
I see that. And what's underneath that?
Right.
Like, and this and this. When's the first time you felt that way about me? And it happened when I was this time. Blah 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 blah. It's like, wow. What does that child self? What did they always want to say to me? What did that child want to say? Let the child talk. And the child is going to talk, and it's just like, that's exactly how I would do a regression
I gotta be
too.
taking some notes. This is helpful. Like,
Right?
this is super helpful.
Because you don't have to be in. People think hypnosis means relax, and in that state, you don't have to be that way. You can be in. Hypnotherapy is getting to that altered state of consciousness. You tap into that anytime you need to, and usually it's like that flow, focus state. So when you're flowing with all those emotions, that's definitely a version of the hypnotic state. So you could definitely tap into those memories, right? And tap into that healing as well to be able to heal in those altered states of consciousness. And so that child said, well, I always wanted to say this to you, Dad. And I always wanted to say this to you, Dad. And he'd be like, say it to me right now. Say it to me right now as that child would be, speak as that 7-year-old child. Speak as that 5-year-old child.
Give him permission to do that.
Give him permission to do it, right?
I like that, yeah.
And then he gonna cry. He's gonna cry, and then give him space to cry. Tell him, let him do that too.
You know what's funny? We had a discussion. He was struggling with some things, and I went down, had a very calm talk with him, and said, this and this, and I just want you to see what you're doing, and just maybe be aware of it. And I left, and he came up about 20 minutes later, and he just started crying, and he hugged me, and he was like, "Yo, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
And that was his moment. I didn't say anything. I just said, listen, man, I'm here, man. Life ain't supposed to be super easy. It ain't supposed to be super smooth, man. We got rough bumps, and it's how we navigate those bumps, how we get over them, how we, traverse those obstacles. So let yourself go. Let it be. Let it be. It's all right. It's all right to let it go. And the fact that you are crying is probably more healing than you holding it in,
100%.
yelling and screaming, doing whatever, or being downstairs writing and inscribing in a book and doing. No, it's better you cry in front of me because I'm the person that's probably the cause or one of the triggers for you that are making you feel like this. So it was. You're saying, wow, you're like spot on. You're like spot on.
And most of the time people don't get to do that. I commend you on actually wanting to be in that space. Most people don't have parents that will let them yell at them, will let them just be able to talk their free mind without feeling attacked themselves. So I want you to know he's not attacking you, right? If this happens, he's not attacking you. And there is a version of you, he has Ani in his head, right? He has that. There's a part of his consciousnness developed into you. So he hears your voice screaming at him when he makes mistakes. He hears your voice, like just as I said, these parts. So there's a part of his mind that is you, right? That part of his mind also needs to be reprogrammed, and it can be replaced by this current version of you. It can, but he has to make the conscious decision that.
Please tell me how to do that, because I want to replace it.
He has to see it. He has to see that.
He has to be able to want to do that.
Because our minds keep the decisions, they keep the settings, they keep the reprogramming until we decide consciously to change the programming, until we decide to consciously make these new decisions to replace it, right? We have to go in there and say, that's old, let me update my system, right? So he still sees the old, there's still an old version of you in his mind.
Yes.
And he's, in his mind, that's who you are, even though that's not who you
now,
are, right?
Got you.
So he has to see, oh, I need to upgrade the version of my dad in my mind. This is who he is now. So the more time you spend time with him, the more time you like, he can see it. That part of him will start changing. It will. That his inner father, his inner parent, will change into constantly evolving. That's why people don't even realize why it's so important to have these strong relationships with your kids, open communication.
Right.
I know in the past it was like children meant to be seen, not heard. People didn't like to have conversations. They had outgrown people's business. Like they couldn't express their feelings and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
That hurt the inner parent. That there's always an inner parent in children's mind, but that inner parent can't evolve with the child and change because they're always just going to have that one. And it's like I can't talk to my dad.
Right.
He's never going to change, even though you have been changing. So it has to be able to evolve. And I mean, sure, we could do a hypnotherapy session to change it, but I feel like you doing the work, you changing, it will update his system as well.
And I have been, and again, maybe this is my own selfishness of wanting it to be healed so much that I get frustrated when he doesn't see my change, right? Which is probably not fair to him because he has to see that change in his own time through his own lens, and I can't push him and just say, "Hey, look at me, I'm evolved now." You know, these types of things. It does take time, and I know that in this very delicate space of healing.
Yeah. Let me ask you, when he's not seeing the change you made, how does that make you feel? It makes me feel so
unseen or unheard.
And when you're feeling unseen and unheard, that makes me feel so
undervalued.
And when you're feeling undervalued, that makes me think that I am
not worthy of the value that I'm looking for.
And when you're feeling unworthy, that makes me believe that I am
gonna die with the same kind of relationship with my family that I don't want.
So let me ask you this, Ani. You're feeling, when you talk to your son and he's not seeing your changes, you feel unworthy, undervalued. There's some anger there. It makes you angry, right? And those feelings did not start with your son. It just was triggered. Your son triggered those feelings in you, but it didn't start with your son, right? So, and it sounds like you're afraid to be stuck in that type of relationship,
100%.
right? You're afraid 100%. to die like that, right? Sure. So there's some fear in there as well.
For sure.
Your son is not the source of your fear. He's not the source of you feeling unworthy, undervalued, any of those things, right? So you can look for your own, well, where did that come from? Where does that come from? What was the first time I felt that way, right? Because it's not from your son.
No.
And then that way, when you heal that, and you won't be triggered anymore by your son not receiving you, right? And then you go, well, he's not receiving me, and you'll just have patience and peace. So that's all you can offer him is patience and peace, right?
Right.
But that anger that you're feeling, again, that trigger, you were triggered. Right. Lean into your trigger. Lean into your trigger. Why? What's going on? What's underneath this?
I think that I'm, again, and we know that this awareness is not enough, but I didn't have the opportunity to heal with my parents the way that I'm trying to heal with my son. So I have a very tumultuous relationship with my mom. Very tumultuous relationship, very psychologically wearing. And then I did some things or went through some things with her that made me feel at blame. Like so I'll give you one quick story that, and this is something I've never shared really. So this is like awesome. So when I was younger, I was, on the other side of the law. And I remember I was arrested, I was going up before the judge, and prior to this, my mother had been diagnosed with cancer. So I am at this point now in front of the judge. The judge says, well, my mother was sitting in the podium in the, the stands, and he said, well, okay, well, 10 years, he says to me. And I look back, and I felt like I saw everything leave my mother. And she just sat down. Last time I saw my mother alive.
Mm.
Last time I saw her alive. Actually, the next time I saw my mother, I was in handcuffs. They brought me from the jail to go to her funeral.
Wow.
And I've never been able to forgive I've always felt like, did I zap the life out of her being this person, this guy who I was performing for the street for to be, accepted amongst these peers that I was looking up to. And did I do that? And that was a moment where I realized that I could never heal that moment. Or at least I thought I could, because I never had the chance to apologize, express it. Who was I going to express it to? I didn't have anyone to speak to. My father wasn't around. It was a single parent home. He was totally out of my life.
Yeah.
And the only person that was a caregiver, even in her, her not doing it at the highest level, going through her ways and going through her experiences, she was the only person I would have had. But now, here it is. I can't even express her because she passes when I'm gone. And she never came, and I told her, never come see me in this place.
Yeah.
Like, this place is disgusting, it's evil. The energy in here is just horrible. You on cancer. I don't want you nowhere around it. So I did all my time by myself.
Yeah.
And then the only time to see her is to see her in this coffin.
Yeah.
It was like
No, I feel you, and thank you for sharing that story. That's really, really, it's really, really powerful, right? And it shows a lot. It shows how, first of all, how much you care about your mom, right? And that can be very hard and traumatic. And like you said, like you feel like you can never really heal that, right? And I could hear you saying that you even blame yourself for her dying, right? So I can imagine the grief that you're carrying around, but the guilt that you're carrying around. And a lot of people carry this righteous guilt. You probably don't believe you probably don't believe that you deserve to, be forgiven for that, right? And can't imagine how much you beat yourself up about it. Right?
Right.
But so that's why hypnotherapy is so great, because you can definitely resolve things with parents that are alive or not alive, right? Because like I said, your mom lives in your mind, right? There's a part of your consciousness that has formed into your inner mom. And the relationship that you had, the healing that you can do, you can do it within your mind, right? You can definitely do that. But other things, and I don't know how expanded spiritually or anything that you go in, like, but death is not the end.
Absolutely.
Right?
100%.
This is a meat suit.
Yeah, big time.
Her spirit is eternal.
Absolutely.
And you can't kill something that's eternal. She can never die, right? And so, like, you holding on to guilt about your mother passing, but she shows us her meat suit. I know you feel her. I know you feel her. No, 100%. You know she's there, right?
100%.
So do you think that she would want you to hold on to that guilt?
No.
Do you think that what are some things that you think she would say to you?
We have had conversations. So I think in having discussions with her, because I've had those moments during fasting where I've literally been able to ask her questions about, should I do this? And the answer was clear. There was no question in my mind. Do this. And when I did it, that's what I was supposed to do. And I knew it immediately, right? So in this particular instance, absolutely, she said, you're not at fault.
Yeah.
You didn't give me cancer. You didn't give me cancer in the pancreas. You didn't do that. that was part of the journey that I was on. So she's definitely told me that it's me being able to actually accept it.
Mhm.
That
Why can't you accept it, Anya? What's the year but?
why
Yeah.
can't I accept it? I would have to say because almost like the pain is my burden to bear. Like I gotta wear something. I can't just be free from all the shit that I've done.
Is that true?
I don't know. It can't be. It can't be true, right? But that's the truth that I've been living in, is that all the stuff you've done, there has to be a price to pay.
Is there? Does there have to be a price to pay?
If we believe, and I'm just giving you how, if we believe in karma, all the stuff that I've done can't just go away.
I'm asking you these questions as a hypnotherapist, fully put on that hat, right?
Okay.
But I can definitely clear some things about karma. And I was just thinking about this, right? You have to take responsibility for everything that you do. You cannot escape the consequences, and consequences does not mean punishment. Consequences does not mean punishment. For every cause, there is an effect. For every effect, there is a cause. You sow seeds, they shall be reaped, period. But it does not have to be a punishment. And then the only way out of karma is through grace. God can save anybody
You gotta
from
say that one again. That's a good one. The only way to
the
say
only
it one more time. That's a good one.
the only way to cure karma, to get around the other side of karma, is grace. Grace is the only thing that can free you from your karma, right? And what does that mean? What is the law? What is that law of grace, right? And so you don't even gotta believe in God. Honestly, you don't, to be able to tap into this, to be able to really know that everything can be forgiven. All your debts can be forgiven. Like everything can. It can be. You can have a completely slate wiped clean, and the things that the karma that you bring with it was the lessons that you learned, right? You learned all of those things. You learned, even wearing the weight of all of that pain and all of that guilt. You know what that does to you. You know what that does to you,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And you've heard your mom tell you she don't want you to carry it. You know God doesn't want you to carry it. You know the universe doesn't want. You're the only one who wants you to carry it.
Right.
You're the
Who
only
would carry
the
the
only
torch?
reason
I
why.
gotta carry this, right? Right.
It's. I think humans have this thing that they believe they are meant to suffer. They believe that you have to suffer to live is to suffer.
Live is to suffer.
How big of a lie is that? How big of a lie is that?
And I could actually say I'm probably one of those people who believe that suffering is a part of.
I
part.
heard you say it. I heard the limiting beliefs. I heard you say it, right? I heard you say, like, you can't escape it from this world. You told your son that. I heard you say you told your son, like, this is what it means to live.
Right.
But what about living in ease? You can live in ease, right? I do believe that the only way you know the highest heights of bliss is if you experience the lowest lows. And I've been through some dark times, right? Do you have to stay in the dark times just because that is impossible? You have to come up and down, right?
Absolutely.
But instead of your line looking just like this, right? It can just keep going up. You can keep having your lows don't have to be as low, right? You can just keep going to higher heights, and this is like, I've been there.
I'm not going. Right.
Not even I'm not going back. It's not about having fear. I don't have to go back because I learned my lessons. What would be the point of me going back there, right? Only reason why I go back is to save the people in the darkness. Is this to help pull those people forward? That's my mission. That's my purpose. Is to bring people out of the dark, because they think that they have to sit there. They think that they can't escape, or they're not worthy to sit in the light. They're not worthy to sit in, like, to be happy.
That's a beautiful realization. Honestly, that is a beautiful realization, because as we talking this through, and I'm almost certain that this is gonna appeal or matter to a lot of people, because I'm sure that there are a lot of people sitting in this darkness because they do not feel that they have a way to just totally say, I no longer am going to sit here at all. Like, I don't have to be that. They always feel like something has to keep me here. Like, something is, and that's how I feel, like there's something that's always holding me in this space.
Yeah, it's those years. Yeah, like, even, it's so funny because I will I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist. The clinical part is because I can also help you with some different psychosomatic illnesses, right? So a lot of pain lives in the mind. A lot of illnesses live in the mind. I'm sure you heard of the placebo effect, and it's like, you know, I cured myself by taking a sugar pill, right? You cure yourself by taking a sugar pill. That means you made yourself sick, right? It's your thoughts and it's your beliefs that, again, is psychosomatic. And I don't want to be very clear. It's not imaginary. I'm not saying it's imaginary.
Absolutely.
Your mind is your mind is so powerful. It can make you have cancer. That's how powerful your mind is, right? And so I will have I've worked with mothers or soon to be mothers, and they have painless births. It's all in your mind, right?
Really?
Yes, it's all in your mind. Ani, this is a side topic. Ani, I saw when I was going through my training, showed us a video of a man getting his leg cut off, an amputee, and he had no anesthesia. It was just all hypnotherapy. It was just all hypnosis. He controlled his own bleeding, and he felt no pain. He was fully conscious.
Really?
Just in that altered state of mind, right? How powerful is your mind? That his leg was over there.
Yeah.
His leg was over there. And he's just like, it's all right. Do your thing.
Right. Really?
And so, again, like you can do that, right? So people don't realize that they're keeping themselves in the dark, right? You're sitting in a cage and you have the keys. I think that's in the Bible too. You have the keys to the cellar. You have the keys. You can get out of hell. You can walk into heaven. It's all in you. Why do people want to suffer? Why do people feel unworthy? And I've come to my understanding from my study on healing and this journey. It's just like it's because of that separation from God, right? It's from that separation from light, from source.
Right.
You start feeling that unworthiness and not realizing that this is all a journey for you to experience and understand yourself.
Right.
Even if you're on your journey has brought you to some really dark places and you did some really dark things, God knows.
Right.
God knew you was going to go down there.
Right.
But his plan for you was for you to experience and learn.
That. Right.
How can I enjoy the sun if I don't know what the darkness feels like? How can I enjoy if I've never felt rain?
Right.
You'll take it for granted.
Absolutely.
Right?
It doesn't have the same meaning.
It won't.
Both sides of the coin.
The food won't taste good if you've never been hungry.
Absolutely.
And I've been hungry.
Right.
I've been hungry.
I've been spiritually hungry. So I understand when you're saying that spiritual connection, because that has been probably my driving force for the last 15 to 20 years, has been my spiritual involvement, right? But what you're highlighting to me is that in my spiritual involvement, I was leaving out something essential, which was that my connection to source is my redeeming factor. It's my redeeming factor. It's the one thing that allows me to no longer have to sit here and suffer because of the things that I've done. That I have the right to be forgiven. I have the right to forgive myself.
You were already forgiven in God's eyes. You're the only one who believed you weren't worthy of forgiveness.
I was the only one, right? And it was the me, not the spiritual me. It was the ego personality me that felt that, because the spiritual me would have known.
Always knows,
because we always connected to the top anyway. So they already know you've been wasting time. Dwelling in that.
I wouldn't even say wasting time. There's like that's his journey.
That's his journey.
As long as he wants to stay on that journey, he's on that journey. And that's your path.
Wow.
You can't pull somebody off their path. It's how long? And it's like this. How long do you want to carry that burden? How long do you want to carry that cross? How long are you going to? How long? And then you decide. You decide. You decide it.
No, that's dope, because I'm thinking about, like, I was thinking when I grew up in the church. My mother and my father were preaching. My mother was in the church. And I always remember the ideology of carrying the cross and what it meant. Like, that was like actually like a gift to carry the cross. Like, it was like almost like you were supposed to bear this burden.
Look how strong I am. I can carry anything on my back. Like I got the whole world.
Right. Like, this is what you're supposed to do. Like,
and it made, so when you don't, you feel shamed, you feel weak. When you say I need help, It's like, what's going on? Why
Mm.
can't I carry my cross? Why
Why
can't I
can't I
carry?
carry this
And so
burden?
it makes you, because that was your programming, that you
Too
have to
weak.
carry, that you have to
Yeah.
be strong,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But again,
For sure.
you don't have to be, you don't
You
have
know,
to.
right. Like you said, you don't have. How long do you want to carry? You all right? You got to carry it at some point. It might hit you and it might hold on your shoulder. You could toss it right off. But you, just like you said, you're wearing it because you feel like I have to do this. Like there's some obligation to the pain that I have in order to validate my strength, or to validate that I'm worthy of getting out of the pain. I got to carry the pain, which is like, it doesn't even make sense when I'm saying it. Like I'm worthy of, I'm only worthy of getting out of the pain if I carry the pain.
When will you actually put it down? When will you actually, like, you know what I
Right.
mean? From
Yes.
that whole thing. So
When do you
when
put
do
it
you
down?
put it down?
When you come to awareness of your connection to the freedom of absolution.
Again, it's not just awareness. It's
Mhm.
not just the understanding,
Mhm.
right? It's not just knowing that you have that connection, stepping into it.
Mm.
It's really integrating it. It's like
Integrating it. Wow,
I
that's
can see
powerful.
this. I'm inside. I can see the sun. I know the sun is there. Step outside.
Right. No, that's powerful. That's power. Wow. That gave me goosebumps. Like, that's right, nigga. It's like that is like a clear awareness for me that I have been self-sabotaging. Right? I literally, that comes back to what we started at. Like, in this full circle, like, I have been self-sabotaging even though I know so much. Even though I've studied so much, even though I've done so much healing work on myself and, found these different modalities to use, meditation, fasting, all the mantras, just so many different things.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter because there was a core something that was just saying, no, you still tethered to this.
Mhm.
You can't, all that sounds cool. All that sounds really, like, it sounds really cool that you figured this out. You could tell everybody about it, you could talk about it. But nah, brother, you hold to you still ball and chained to this rock
Mhm.
until is unanswered. Because it's just until what? Until
Yeah.
I decide to say I'm no longer tied to it.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
that simple, right? To say, man,
It's real. It really is that simple.
really is that simple. Hannah, this has been amazing. And this has been amazing. And
If I can say one thing, because I know we have to
absolutely.
leave. And then one thing people don't realize either, because I know you've been on this healing journey, on this spiritual journey for a long time. Every time you go up a different level, it will unlock new things,
Right.
new issue. Like, you may think I'm there, and it's just like there's some more shadow work that you got to do. There's this, now that you're at this level, now you're ready to unpack this.
Right.
Now, so new levels means new challenges, more things, more shadows that you can shine light on, right? So people like, I'm healed. People think I'm healed. I'm done. This is it, right? Well, you're not dead. So
Right. some more work to do.
there's gonna be some
Right.
more work.
Some more work to do.
But once you have the tools and you know how to integrate it, it just gets so much better, so much easier, so much funner, right? And now it's so funny. It's so funny about, like, when my clients come to me, like, they're crying. I'm just like, I'm so happy.
Right.
I'm so happy you're
Why you laughing
crying.
at my crying?
I'm
Right.
just like, it gets me excited. Why? Because I'm like, you're doing the work. It's about to get fun. It's
Right.
about to get crazy. But
Right.
then when you integrate these things and you start learning, you're just like, wow, because you get to on the other side. Because, oh my God, how great does it feel on the other side? And you're just like, woo, I made it.
And every level up has felt better than the level prior to.
And that proves that you're going up. That proves that your lows are not as low as they were. That proves that you're going like this.
No, they definitely have been. And it's just this situation I was talking about in terms of the divorce, which drew me. Maybe I did allow it to bring me all the way back down to this level one, because there were some things that maybe I didn't address,
Yeah.
and now it's causing me to have to address.
But I'm sure that pullback is going to make you slingshot right back up.
I've said the same. It's going to feel that way. It's going to feel like, well, Hannah, I really want to thank you for being a part of this journey, because I tell my audience, this is not episodes, this is not me teaching, this is me experiencing with you in real time growth.
Yeah.
You know, experiencing vulnerable moments where you can look within and see how can we not just talk about healing, do some healing.
Yeah.
And all healing is worth the healing, right?
Yes.
It doesn't matter if it's a little bit, if you just feel a little bit better tomorrow and a little, that's worth whatever you have to go through to get it because it's liberating.
Yeah.
And talking with you has been extremely liberating. I want you to tell everyone how they can find you, where they at, where you at, where you're trying, everything
Yeah.
about you. You know, I want I know if I need this, I know there's some other people who could definitely use what you have just shared with me.
Yeah.
100%.
That is, it's amazing. I'm grateful that I am able to sit here with you and talk to this and have a mini session. I'm very excited. Again, this is
Right.
this is my passion. This is what I'm here
I can
for.
tell.
And if you looking to find me, I'm Hannh Reiki Hypno on all platforms, honestly. Instagram, YouTube, like
Beautiful.
TikTok. That's where I am. And if you need some healing work, some hypnotherapy, some energy work, I'm your girl. But
Absolutely.
it's I'm sure you realize this too, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's you doing the healing work, and I'm really just a guide. I just know the modalities. I just know
Right.
the right questions to ask to get you to. I could have told you all these things,
Right.
but you connected the dots in your own head, and that's the integration. You're doing the work.
Beautiful.
You guys do the work.
Yes.
I am just a guide. I am just a vessel.
Well, you know, some guys are better than others. So you got to get the right guy because sometimes the wrong guy to take you down an unnecessary path. So you want to get with the right guy, I would say you get with Hannh. You get with Hannh and you find on all platforms, Hannh, the Reiki.
Hannh Reiki Hypno.
Hannh Reiki Hypno. You need to find that because just in this session alone, my spidey sense goosebumps have told me that there's some awareness that I have gotten, and I'm going to now utilize that, like she said, to put it into action. Because just being aware of it and not doing the work is not enough. You got to do the work, and the work is sometimes daunting. The work is scary. It can be scary, but you don't have to be scared. You can choose to do it through love. You can choose to do it through the desire to heal you, your family. You know, we always talk about these generations. We don't do this work just for ourselves alone.
Yeah.
Other people, when that light shines out of you, it shines on other people's shadows as well. And you heal them and you get them out of it. So you want to do this work because most of us, especially in my audience, have children.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure that those children are better than we are and have the tools to facilitate this healing process. Because without you having done it, it's almost for sure, if you feel any pain, they felt pain.
Yeah, and you have to do it yourself first.
You got to do it yourself first. So, family, as always, I want to thank you for tapping in. You know, love and healing, gratitude, prosperity, power, strength, wisdom, love. Always love. Love is undefeated. I appreciate you for tapping in. Thank you for tapping into another episode of Sins of the Father. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and more importantly, comment. Let me know what you thought. Let me know how you feel. Let me know if there's anything that we could talk about. If you want to be a guest on the show, please put it in the chat, put it in the comments, and let me know. Thank you again for tapping in. Love and healing.
That was
Thank
so
you.
amazing.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Hannh.
so
Oh,
much.
that was. Listen, I feel lighter. Like I'm gonna float out. I'm gonna float out of here. This is like awesome.
Oh,
This is awesome.
that's
Wow.
great.